cash a meal. And do it through the pain, I don't need the pain. And life gon' get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the NFL Coverage. Today, this episode is brought to you by Final Form Supplements. Here, have hair, skin, and nail essentials. This right here, 2 pills a day, can help you keep your skin clear, keep your hair healthy, also help promote hair growth, as well as keep your nails healthy. Again, I have all kinds of stuff. This stuff I've been taking for over a month now, keeping the hair, skin, and nails tidy, and also just want to say that this is in combination with a nice skincare routine. I haven't had a breakout since I started taking this stuff. I'm still doing my skincare routine, but this on top of that, just to kind of make sure I got all my bases covered. You know, you got to keep the hair nice and healthy. Again, go to finalformsubs.com. We got all kinds of stuff: protein, creatine, joint health. Check that stuff out. Finalformsubs.com. It's supps.com. And use promo code COACHTRIP, all caps, no space, to get 10% off your order. Now we're gonna get straight into it. We're going over week 10 of the NFL that's just transpired. We'll get straight into it. I'm gonna try to go a little faster. I do know last episode was a little longer than I wanted, so I'm gonna try to just speed through all of these. All right, Thursday night we have Panthers, Bears. Bears get the win there. No surprise. 16-13. Carolina haven't really done much. They're 1-8. Bears with a 3-7. It's really they're starting to just look like teams that are just not going to do too well this season. Colts, Patriots. It's a close game, low scoring game, 10-6. Colts get it done. They moved to 5-5. Patriots moved to 2-8, and it's looking like Belichick is probably gonna have, one of the less successful teams that he's had in a very, very long time. Some would argue ever. Packers, Steelers. Steelers get it done. Now, like I said earlier, Steelers could be one of those teams that go on a run. They started off a little rough early this season with the quarterback play, but they now move to 6-3. They're 6-3, and Packers moved to 3-6. So the Packers for sure missing Aaron Rodgers. Vikings, Saints. Dobbs has another good game for the Vikings. Dobbs has 268 yards passing, 1 passing touchdown. Dobbs is starting to look like, he deserves a starting spot in the NFL. So now it's going to be interesting to see if one of those teams are in that position, similar to the Titans, or the Bears, where you have a guy that's not your initial starter for the season. That's not your guy that you deemed, but your guy gets hurt. You bring in somebody else, and they're playing as good or better than your guy. Now, when Cousins gets back healthy next year, what do? Obviously you're going to keep Dobbs, but who becomes the starter then? So it gets tricky. But I'm interested to see how Dobbs continues to play, because he's basically playing for a contract. If not here for the Vikings, he's potentially playing to put film out for other teams to potentially pick him up as a starter or as a solid big-time backup. But I'm sure at this point he's looking for a starting position, and now he's putting out film where he can show he can play, and he can kill you on the ground and the air. Houston, Bengals, what a game. CJ Stroud is making waves. CJ Stroud, that boy is just going crazy. 356 passing yards, 1 touchdown. He did throw an interception. But you're talking about, it was a great game by both. It was only a 3-point win for Houston. It came down to the wire, literally last second. Joe Burrow looked good as well. So I don't think this looks too bad on the Bengals, just because I believe Houston right now is probably playing the most exciting ball right now, and they probably have the most momentum out of any other team. Burrow, he had 347 with 2 pass touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he also had a good game. The defense gave up 30. The Bengals were only able to get to score 27. So at the end of the day, they didn't get it done. But both teams offensively look good. So now I'm curious to see how Texans going to move as they move forward, because now they're over that 500 hump, even though they started the season off very, very rough. And CJ Stroud, a lot of people are talking about MVP. We'll see. Will he be a rookie quarterback to win MVP? Very unlikely. But if there was a guy that's having a season like now, if there was a guy to do it this year, it would be CJ Stroud. If he continues throwing 300 plus yards a game and continues to win, I don't see why he shouldn't be in the conversation. Browns, Ravens. Again, I talked about this last week. I'm interested to see how the Ravens offense matches up against the Browns. And just as I thought, I figured the Browns would get this dub. Browns get the dub 33-31. Very close game. Again, this one, another one that came down to the wire. But Browns get it done. Browns get it done. They get the dub. And I do believe Deshaun Watson is having season-ending shoulder surgery this week. So he is out for the season. So now it becomes, what are they doing? Because I know PJ Walker is going to be the starter moving forward. And I do understand the Browns were winning before they were winning before because Deshaun Watson's shoulder was bothering him. So there were some games he sat and they were still able to get wins. But big picture wise, what does that look like for the Browns moving forward? But they do get the dub, as I suspect, because I was heavily leaning on that defense for the Browns, which is my number one defense in the NFL. Titans, Buccaneers, don't want to talk about this too much. Bucks win 20-6. Baker Mayfield is back in Baker Mayfield fashion, as well as Mike Evans. 6 catches, 143 yards, and a tutty. And Baker Mayfield had 278, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And the Titans, we just couldn't get it done at all. We moved to 3-6. Bucks moved to 4-5. And Mike Evans is back because I have Mike Evans on my fantasy team. So I'm glad to see that from Mike Evans. 49ers, Jags. I think 49ers are back. I think they figured it out. I think they're going to go on a little win streak here. They win 34-3 to break their 3-game losing streak, move to 6-3. Jacksonville, it goes to 6-3. Jacksonville's still head of their division in the AFC South, and San Francisco's still in their head of their division in NFC West. So now, can the 49ers move back up to that top tier with the Eagles and the Eagles? I guess Miami might not be up there anymore because they show that they can't win. So far, they can't beat good teams. Bills kind of moved down from there because we'll get to that in a second. Dallas is kind of back up there. So it's really just Eagles, Dallas are back up there. But can San Francisco get back in that top tier? Now, Lions, Chargers. Lions get the dub 41-38, 7-2. Lions are creeping up there. Teams aren't really talking about the Lions. They're 7-2. Chargers move to 4-6. We'll see how that goes how that plays out. Cardinals get the dub against the Atlanta Falcons. Cardinals get the dub. They move to 2-8. Falcons are 4-6. Kyler Murray, I believe this is his first start for Kyler Murray, so it makes sense. He has 249 yards. He didn't throw any touchdowns, had an interception, but threw 249 yards, and they got it done on the ground. Kyler Murray gets a rushing touchdown for them. Commanders, Seahawks. Seahawks get the dub there. Geno Smith is playing well. Seahawks are 6-3. Another team that's quiet. They're quiet, and people aren't really talking about, but they're 6-3. They keep going. They're gonna be they could potentially be a 12. They could potentially be a 12, 11 win team, but we'll see. There's still a lot of games to be played. Dallas Cowboys, Giants. This is exactly what I figured. Dallas Cowboys played Dak Prescott played phenomenal. The New York Giants, their quarterback, they're on their 3rd string. Daniels is out for the season with a ACL tear, which I called it as soon as I saw it. A non-contact knee injury. It's usually MCL, ACL. Tyrod Taylor's still out. So they're playing with their 3rd string quarterback, and against that defense, with the amount of pressure they bring, it was just inevitable. Dak Prescott, 404 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, threw 1 interception, and then Cooper Rush ended up coming in towards the end because they weren't playing their starters. And that boy CeeDee Lamb had 151 yards on 11 catches, and Cooks had 9 with 173, touchdown each. Gallup had 2 catches, 70 yards with a tutty, and Ferguson had 4 catches, 26 yards, and a tutty. So Dallas's offense, if Dallas continue this level of offensive play, I think they have a good chance of making it to the Super Bowl. I think it'll be Dallas, Eagles, in the, depending on how it's set up, it'll be Dallas, Eagles in the NFC Championship. And I think Dallas has a good shot if they continue this level of play offensively. The problem is they got to play a full game for them to get there. Raiders, Jets. Raiders get another dub. They've won 2 in a row now. Jets take that, again, a low-scoring game. I know I said I was looking at the Jets for this one because their defense, they did hold them to 16 points, but they just didn't get enough going on offense to get the dub. And Raiders are back on winning. They're getting closer to winning football. They're at 500. They're 5-5, so they're a couple wins away from being 7-5. So we'll see how that goes moving forward now that they have new management there. And then the game I want to talk about, the Broncos and Buffalo Bills, because I said this last week, and I said this with the Chiefs. Broncos are one of those teams where they beat teams they're not supposed to beat, and they lose teams they're supposed to beat. That's exactly what happened. I called it last week. I said I'm going to take Broncos because that's one of those teams where you got the Bills, who is looked at to be a Super Bowl contending team. They're supposed to be a well-rounded team. You got Josh Allen. You got Stephon Diggs. They got the tight end. I can't pronounce his name. I forget. But they got that tight end that's really good. You got all those guys, and for the past couple of years, they've been solid. And the Broncos, most people say they haven't been very good at all this year. You would expect Bills to just sweep them, just absolutely wash them. They didn't. Broncos get the dub 24-22. All right, and I kept telling y'all, Russell Wilson isn't the problem with the Broncos. It's their defense. Russell Wilson, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, all right? Sutton had an incredible touchdown, 53 yards. Williams had 31 yards and a tutty. And Jared Jeudy had 35. And Perrine, I don't know how to say his last name, Samaji, had 35. So Wilson's getting it done across the board by committee. And Williams had 79 rushing yards. So Broncos, and that means Broncos move to 4-5, right? Now they're still last in their division. They move to 4-5. Can they get some wins going? I'm not sure they have next week. We'll get there when I get to that side. But Broncos, to me, they're just an interesting team. They're an interesting team to me. I don't know why I can't say that word. Just because, one, I'm a Russell Wilson fan, obviously, and I want them to play well. But they're interesting to me because you have a team. It's always interesting to me when you have a team that starts off the season so bad, people just write them off. You're 3 games in, and people are, oh yeah, they're garbage. There's no way they have a shot. This is an embarrassment because they was dragging Russell Wilson's name through the ground. They were dragging the coach's name through the ground. Sean Payton. They were dragging I was gonna say Sean McVay again. Sean Payton's name through the ground because of the team. Now they're actually a decent team, right? So what if by the end of the season they got 10 wins? They go 10-7. They go 11-6, right? Which again, it's not likely because they started the season off so bad. But what if? It's just interesting to me how things can still play out in the NFL, and that's why it's one of the greatest sports of all time. All right, and then we have Kansas City, Rams, Miami, and Philly all have byes. Now, moving on to Week 11, upcoming, starting tomorrow. I'm recording this on Wednesday. This will come out hopefully Wednesday, depending on how long it takes to load. Thursday night, we have Bengals, Ravens. Ravens are 3.5-point favorite. I am interested in this game. It's interesting to me because I want to see how the Bengals respond, and I want to see how Ravens respond. They're both coming off losses, right? And they're both kind of coming off losses they should have won. You can argue Bengals, but I think they're both coming off losses they should have won. So I'm interested to see how those teams bounce back. Titans, Jaguars. I'm also interested in this game because division rivals. Jacksonville is number 1 in the division for the AFC South. Titans are dead last. If Titans get this win against Jacksonville, then it's going to shake up the division a little bit. And obviously, I want my Titans to win. Go Tits. Next, Chargers, Packers. Not really interested in that one. Chargers 3-point favorite. Giants, Commanders, 9.5-point favorite for Commanders. Not interested in that game. Miami, Raiders. I'm not interested in that game either because Miami's 13.5-point favorite. That'd be what it is. Houston, Cardinals. I'm interested in this simply because I want to see Houston get another dub. I want to see Houston go on a little win streak here because if Houston wins this, they move to 6-4. Now we're talking football. We're talking about a team. I'm just interested in this because I want to see C.J. Stroud go out there and put up MVP numbers because I kind of do want him to win MVP as a rookie quarterback. I just think that'd be great. I love, different things that's I don't know if it's happened before or not, but it's rare if it has happened before. It's very, very unheard of. So I'm interested in that, just see how Houston plays. But I'm also somewhat interested to see how Carolina looks with Murray. Are the reason they 2-8 is because Murray wasn't playing at all, or is it the system? Now, because if Murray's back and they start winning some games, now I'm like, okay, Murray makes a difference. Obviously, he did make a difference before, but last year he had a very kind of up and down season. This is supposed to be his breakout year, his year of consistency, his year of showing, yo, I can do this. Now I'm interested to see how the Cardinals look with Murray back in the picture for the team. So that game I'm interested in. Bears, Lions. Lions 9-point favorite. Not interested in that one. I'll take Lions on that all day. Browns, Steelers. I'm interested. 1-point favorite to the Browns. Steelers. Steelers is also one of those teams where they're kind of like the Broncos. I think they're a better version of the Broncos. They'll beat teams they're not supposed to beat, but they'll lose the teams they're supposed to beat. So I think the Steelers are a better coached, a more well-rounded, better coached version of the Broncos. So now I'm curious to see, can the Steelers squeak a dub against the Browns? And the Browns are not playing with Deshaun Watson, so that's to their advantage. This is for sure on my list for games. It might be. Let me look. No, not yet. I'm gonna get to the game of the week. Finis' game, Uncle Strib's game of the week. All right. Next we got Cowboys, Panthers. Not interested. Cowboys 10.5-point favorite. Buccaneers, 49ers. I am interested in this one. 49ers are 11.5-point favorite. That might be. I might take Buccaneers just because I don't think 49ers will cover the spread. I think 49ers will win. I don't know if they'll win by 12 points. I think they might win by 10 or 7. But I'm interested to see, can the 49ers get 2 in a row? They went on 3-game loss. Can they won last week? Can they win this week? Can they go on a little win streak? And also I'm looking at the Buccaneers because I'm a Mike Evans fan. So I want to see Mike Evans do well, and I want the Bucs to do well as well. I want all teams to do well. But I'm interested to see how the Bucs try to get the gears going for this team. Because they started off super strong. It was Baker Mayfield. It was game time. Mike Evans was going crazy. He was on pace to get like 1,800 yards this season on the first game. Then they kind of hit this little rough patch. Can they overcome adversity in the middle of the season and start competing and getting these games with some dubs? Seahawks, Rams. I'm not interested in that. Seahawks are a 1-point favorite. I'm going to take Seahawks on that. Jets, Bills. Bills are 7-point favorite. I'm interested in this one simply because I want to see how Bills react. Anytime a team that's supposed to be good or that is good gets an L, even if it's against a good team or not, I always like to see how that team bounces back. That's what I'm interested in. That's my favorite part of sports, especially in basketball. I'm not going to go into basketball. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep it football. But in football, in sports, I just love seeing teams that are good, hit a little bit of adversity, and bounce right back to it. They go on this win streak. They might lose a game here, and they go right back on it. They learn from it, dust it off, keep moving forward. Because some teams can lose a game that messes with their confidence, that might get some tension in the locker room, and they start to do this, slippery slope, bam, next thing you know, they've lost 5 in a row. Or the good teams, they might lose one, and then they'll learn from it, move on, and continue to win. They might lose one here, win, they might lose another one, right? Not everybody's perfect. They might lose a few here and there, but for the most part, they're solid and they keep going. They stay focused on the big picture. That's what I love to see in sports. So that's what I'm looking for with this for the Buffalo Bills. And I'm also interested in the Jets because the Jets can low-key set themselves up for potential playoffs. Because Aaron Rodgers is actually expected. News came back. Aaron Rodgers is expected to come back mid-December, right? Which is a few weeks. I think it's like 4 more games. So mid-December, if the Jets can stay close to 500, or if they can be 7-5, 7-4, 7-6, 8 whatever, and you get Aaron Rodgers back with that defense and the weapons that the Jets have, recipe for disaster for the rest of the NFL. So that's something I kind of want to keep my eye on. I'm interested in the Jets the rest of the season just to see if they can stay as close to 500 as possible before Rodgers get back. Get as good of a record as your team can get before Rodgers come back and you insert one of the GOATs. We'll see. So that one I'm interested. Then we have Vikings, Broncos. Again, we're here. Now, this one's interesting. Broncos are the favorite here. Broncos are 2.5-point favorite. This one, I actually don't know. Vikings are 6-4, Broncos are 4-5. I don't know this one because it's not the same Vikings team with Kirk Cousins. You have Joshua Dobbs in there. So it's a different team because not that Kirk Cousins can get you yards on the ground if he absolutely needed to. If it's 3rd and 3 and he does a scramble drill, he can get you 3 yards. But it's not the same team. Joshua Dobbs is a dual threat quarterback. He can kill you on the ground, right? So it's a different team. So you're looking at a different Vikings team, and I haven't seen enough of the Viking teams just yet to determine how they'll look against a unpredictable Broncos team. The reason why the Broncos have 4 wins, the reason why they're 4-5 and they're not 0-9 is because they are unpredictable. You can get, because remember, Broncos was the same team that got beat, that let Miami throw up 70 points defensively, right? So you can get that defense that gave up 70 points. You can also get the defense that hold Patrick Mahomes to 22 or whatever it was. You know, and a lot of the Broncos games were low scoring. I think I have some time. Let me check. They held the Chiefs to 9 points. They held the Packers to 17 points. They held the Chiefs, when they lost to the Chiefs, they still held the Chiefs to 19 points. Right? Now, Jets, they gave up 31. Bears, they gave up 31. And they also, against Miami, gave up 70. But then against the Raiders, they gave up 17, right? Against the Rams, they didn't give up any points. Against the 49ers, solid team, they only gave up 21. Cardinals, they only gave up 18. So they don't, besides a few games here and there, they'll have spurts. But there are some games where they gave up 35, they gave up 70, they gave up 31, they gave up 31. So their defense is all over the place. If you can get low-scoring defense Broncos, like Kansas City Chiefs defense Broncos, we'll see. This would be, if there was a runner-up for game of the week, Broncos-Vikings for me would be second game of the week because I'm just interested to see how this goes down, right? And then the game of the week, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, Monday night primetime football. The Vikings-Broncos is Sunday night primetime. Monday night primetime football, Eagles, Chiefs, 7:15 p.m. Chiefs are a 3-point favorite. I would take the underdogs on this one. I would take Eagles as the underdogs on this one. It's tough because Patrick Mahomes, I don't care what team he's on. He can be on the worst team in the NFL. You insert him, he finds a way to win. The biggest weapon Patrick Mahomes has, it's not his athleticism. It's not his throwing ability. It's not his football IQ. His biggest strength is the ability to extend plays to make a play. Pocket collapse. If you watch him, the pocket collapse, he'll run if he needs to. He's not looking for the run. He'll run laterally as long as he can to look for an open guy downfield. And if nothing's there, he'll go. Or if he sees like a wide open, a hole this big, then obviously he'll go. But he extends the plays. And the hardest thing to defend as a DB is the scramble drill. There's no route. Usually when you're watching a film, he's going to run a slant based on how his stance, his position, the formation, the down and distance. If you watch enough film, you'll be like, okay, it's an 80% chance he's running this slant based on all this stuff that you watch film. So you can kind of, even though you're guessing, but probability is you're right, he's going to run this slant. So you can position yourself to make a play on the slant or to at least make a play on him. If he catches the ball, it'd be a catch bang. That's what we call it. They catch it, you get them down, catch bang play, right? You can put yourself in position for that. Scramble drill, there's no route. There's no formation to read. You're just covering. You find the closest guy to you. You cover him, and he's giving you all of this. There's nothing to read. It's a guessing game. At that point, you're gambling like there's no tomorrow. So it's the hardest thing to guard, and Patrick Mahomes is a savant when it comes to extending the plays with his feet and getting the ball downfield. So I think for the Eagles, if they contain Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, it's hard. But they can Eagles have the front seven to do it. If they contain Patrick Mahomes in the pocket, so when the pocket collapse, keep him in the pocket and get him pressures and sacks. If they contain him in the pocket, I think Eagles get the dub. And I think it'll be a pretty easy because I don't think the Chiefs defense, it's going to be a high scoring game. I don't think the Chiefs defense is a type of defense to hold the Eagles to 7-10 points. It's going to be 30 plus to 30 plus. it might even be 40 plus to 30 plus. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the NFL Coverage, and we'll catch you guys next week. Signing off.
I'm dead.